Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Stand with our feet at a 45 and our hands open and our heads bowed, and repeat silently after me. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and Thee alone seek for Thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom Thou wilt bestow Thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray if they heard Thy teachings. Say He Allah is one God. Allah is He of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is He begotten, there is none like Him. And I bear witness that none is to be served, worship, praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is our true servant and last apostle. Ameen. And I like to say, in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, in the name of His last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today we'd like to talk about the August 9th, 1968 Muhammad Speaks, and the title is The Black Man's Confusion. We have a picture that's a picture of the cross, which is the sign of death, and we have a picture of the star and crescent, which is the sign of life. So both of these two are not the same. Because a lot of times people like to say we all believe in the same God. You know, we just use different names. It's not true. The Christians believe in a spook. Right. We don't believe in a spook. We believe that God is a man. Right. All praise due to Allah. Because if you ask the Christians, is God a man? They're going to say no. So that's why the Bible, or the black man's confusion, is between Christianity and Islam. That's right. That's the black man's confusion. So we're going to start and the messenger says most of the confusion that is besetting the black man today from the Christian world with its highly trained agents stems out from the father of Christianity, the Pope of Rome, who knows the time and what will be done. Now, a lot of times people don't talk about the Pope no more. They act like the Pope's role in this thing is outdated. You know, now we got these televangelists and this new school Christianity. Right. They don't talk about the Pope like he in control, like he still run the show, because the Pope run the show. Right. T.D. Jakes and them don't run the show. Creflo Dollar and all of them, they get it from the Pope. Right. And we want to look at this thing about the Pope and how all of this stuff start. And this comes from Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachings on Nimrod. The messenger said a pagan religion was adopted by the Jews in Judaism. They didn't want the black man's religion, Islam, nor would they accept the yellow man's religion of Buddhism. The white man had to invent himself a religion that would fit his nature for his being evil. His religion had to be flexible enough to allow him to practice his evil and worship statues, drink blood or wine, and eat the body, meaning the flesh of Jesus. The white man had to make up a religion for himself. Right. Because that's why all of the religions share the same prophets. You know, Abraham, Moses, Jesus. We all say we following those prophets. But the reason why we all don't have one religion is because the white man had to make up a religion that's flexible to his nature. Right. He couldn't follow and practice the black man's religion, which is Islam. He couldn't do that. So he had to make up a religion. So these popes, it all started with the Jews, because Moses came to the whole white race in the caves. All of them was taught Islam. But the Jews was the ones that added their paganism to what they call Judaism. But the whole white race was taught Islam from Moses. So it says they applied the teachings of Moses, which is Islam. Now Moses was a Muslim. All the prophets was Muslim.
Right.
Jesus was a Muslim.
Right.
Moses was a Muslim. Abraham was a Muslim. All the prophets was Muslims.
Right.
And it all started out with Islam. So it says they applied the teachings of Moses, Islam to paganism. Thus Judaism began. Judaism kept the Jews a united people because the Jews are part of the white race.
Right.
But only a few of them, or a portion of them, accepted Judaism. But all of them, they just as much devils as the Christian white man.
That's right.
They the same.
Right.
They all devils.
Right.
But a particular group of them decided to add some paganism to what Moses taught them. So that's how Judaism came to be. Then it says the other devils used part of Judaism or paganism and combined all those teachings together, and thus began Catholicism. So the Catholics took what the Jews had and added some more paganism to it.
Right.
Because they probably was some devils like, no, man, we need more flexibility.
Right.
They following the law too much.
Right.
We need more flexibility than that. So you had the popes start their own thing. But it all started out with Islam.
right.
All of it. That's why all the prophets was Muslims, and they came to the people and taught them Islam.
Right.
But the people add their paganism to it, so that's how you have all these different religions. So it says they invented Christianity 551 years ago. We wouldn't expect a white man to accept a black, brown, red, and yellow man's religion. They hate everything black that stands for black. And if you go and look at the different religions, the different breakdowns, because most of us was Baptists. That's what we were. Then you have Methodists, you got Lutherans, and you got all of these different breakdowns. Because you had more devils like, no. Even what the Catholics was doing, we need more flexibility.
Right.
So then you had a devil named John Smith who came up with the Baptist thing. Then you had another devil named Martin Luther. He came up with the Lutheran faith. Then you got another devil named John Wesley who came up with the Methodists. So all of these devils had personal things they wanted to do. If you look at the religion, it wasn't like they was really wanting to practice the religion. Like one devil might want to drink more.
Right.
So like I'm gonna start the Baptists.
Right.
Then another devil might want to be more flexible with cheating on his wife. So I'm gonna start the Lutherans. It wasn't nothing that had to do nothing with righteousness,
Right.
which is why they had this Protestant stuff they were talking about. It was personal preference.
Right.
And we coming along and accept these religions and think it's all true. We Baptists. We believe ain't no other Christian nothing but a Baptist. Or we Methodists.
Yeah.
We think this the only thing to be is a Methodist.
Right.
But all of these religions started out as Islam. But the devils needing more flexibility, they created these other religions. So the messenger goes on to say, he says the Pope of Rome and the church is symbolically prophesied in the Revelation, the last book of the Bible, as being the dragon or the chief spiritual head of the infidel race who drags out of the nation of righteousness those whom he can get to believe in a false religion set up by them after the death of Jesus. So the messenger said that the white man or the Pope is the dragon.
Right.
Now, the Bible was written in symbolic language.
That's right.
We think of a dragon like some monster. And that's what they want us to think. Because they put it in symbolic language because they want flexibility. They don't want us to know what it is.
Right.
So they put all of the teachings that Moses, Jesus, Abraham, and all the prophets taught in symbolic language.
That's right.
So when we look at a dragon, we think of a monster and don't know what it's talking about.
Right.
We look at Jesus' resurrection. We only relate that to somebody rising from the dead. We don't know nothing about what they trying to hide.
Right.
So they put this symbolic language in the Bible to hide the truth.
That's right.
So the messenger taught us what dragon means. And this comes from the March 28, 1959 Pittsburgh Carrier. And the title of the article says, "Come out of her, my people. the beast, that old dragon, the human serpent. The messenger says the dragon, the devil, drags you out of the light of truth after it comes to you, into the same darkness of ignorance and evil that the truth took you out of. Therefore, the name dragon is an appropriate name for the devil.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So, you practicing evil and filth. The light of truth come and tell you what the truth is. So the dragon come and drag you right back into that same filth that you was practicing before the light came.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they call the Pope the dragon.
Right.
Let's give an example of how the dragon operates to make it real.
Right.
Moses came in Leviticus because Moses taught the white race,
Right.
Islam.
That's right.
He taught them the truth. He gave them the law. Told them what's right and wrong.
That's right.
Moses told the devil in Leviticus 11:7-8. He says, and the swine, he is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. That's what Moses told these devils thousands of years ago.
That's right.
That the hog was unclean.
That's right.
So they know what the truth is.
That's right.
But they the dragon.
Right.
After the light of truth telling us that the hog is unclean, the devil drag us right back to that.
Yeah.
So we got McDonald's, got what they call the bacon hour.
Yeah.
It's McDonald's.
Right.
And this came out January 23rd, 2019. It says Tuesday, January 29th, 4 to 5 p.m. local time, free bacon with anything. The bacon possibilities are endless.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Bacon bits on the fries. Now Moses done told you
That's right. Right.
what it is.
Right.
It's unclean.
That's right.
But they got the bacon out. Let's see what is the bacon out. It says McDonald's has already proved that they're playing no games this year with the announcement of an arrival of Big Mac bacon, quarter pounder bacon, and cheesy bacon fries on menus at the end of January. Yes, that's right. 2 McDonald's faves will soon come with 3 slices of thick applewood smoked bacon on top. This is how the devil do you. He describing the bacon. He ain't just saying it's bacon. He making you think it's top shelf bacon.
Right.
You know, you get the applewood smoked bacon. You don't get the regular bacon. Applewood bacon.
Yes.
Then he says, and the famous Mickey D's fries will come topped with cheese and bacon bits. It says, but if that wasn't enough, bacon for you, McDonald's is upping the ante with bacon hour. From 4 to 5 p.m. on January 29th, you can get a free side of bacon with anything on the menu. So they saying they putting bacon on the Big Mac, on the quarter pounder, and all of that. But this bacon hour, you can get bacon on anything. So you can say, with my ice cream, let me get some bacon in it. You know? Let me get some bacon on my fries for the bacon hour. So it says, ever wanted to put bacon on a fillet of fish? Here's your chance. Want to put some bacon in your McFlurry? Go for it. It says Chef Michael Harris, McDonald's manager of culinary innovation, explained the reasoning behind this upcoming bacon hour. He says, when we said there's no such thing as too much bacon, we weren't kidding. I love bacon. America loves bacon. I really can't wait to see the crazy and daring combination our customers put together. It's the devil.
Right. Right.
Moses done told you.
Right.
He done told you that the hog is unclean.
Right.
He told them devils,
Right.
don't even touch the carcass.
Right.
Now they got bacon out. You can get 3 strips of bacon on any sandwich you want. That's the devil.
Right.
Then, this come out April 19th, 2019. This bacon hour come out in January. This thing come out on CNN saying eating just one slice of bacon a day linked to higher risk of coronary cancer, says study. One strip of bacon.
Right.
They say you can get 3 strips of bacon on your Big Mac.
Right.
It's the devil.
Right.
Dragging you right back to what Moses done already told you.
Right.
All praise due to Allah. He dragging you right back.
That's right.
So, the messenger says, today they are offering back black people bribes of higher offices, and they will even offer cash money to keep the black man from going over to the truth and the religion Islam, which by nature the black man was created in. The confused Christianity, the believing black man sees the signs of the decay and eruption of the falsity of Christianity, brightening out and making visible the truth of Christianity's falsity. You know what Moses said? Everybody know. You know the Levitical laws.
Right.
You know you ain't supposed to eat hog. The devil even jokingly say about, what's his name? Joel Osteen jokingly talk about why Muslims don't eat pork. Because it's said in the Bible. Everybody laugh. But everybody know what it is. So when he dragging you, it ain't because you don't know. It's because we love the devil.
That's right.
That's what it is. And he give us bribes and high offices to influence other people. You know, the bacon out.
Right.
This is how he do you. When you know that bacon, because they telling you. It ain't like they not telling you again. Not only do you have Leviticus with Moses, the devil telling you again.
Right.
But when the bacon hour come, how many people gonna go to the bacon hour and get them some bacon on their burger?
Right.
After he telling you not only got the Bible with Moses, you even got CNN. The truth is a joke now. They can tell us the truth and we still won't follow the truth.
Right.
We'll just go and follow whatever the fad is, knowing what the truth is. And that's why the white man or the Pope is called the dragon. Because he drag you right back into the same filth that you know you shouldn't be doing because the prophets told us.
That's right.
So the messenger said, he said, we the Muslims will be the victors over all religions and over all opponent races with our God, the great champion of Islam, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever.
Yes, sir.
We gonna win.
That's right.
Because we, just like the devil got the bacon out, we got how to eat to live.
Right.
Telling us the same thing Moses and them said, because Islam don't change.
That's right.
Same thing Moses was saying. Same thing, how to eat to live. We don't eat hog.
Right.
What's the difference? The only thing that's different, and this is why them Sunni Muslims, they try to come and make you think the messenger didn't teach us Islam. That ain't true.
That's right.
Because when Moses went to the people in the cave, he had to civilize people in the cave.
That's right.
So he had to talk that caveman talk.
Right. That's
You
right.
can't come civilize no man in a cave and you don't know how to speak his language.
That's right.
You gotta know how to speak his language.
That's right.
Just like if you're a fisherman, you got saltwater fish, you got freshwater fish. You gotta know something about the two. You can't come at a freshwater fish like it's a saltwater fish. The environment different.
Right.
The environment in saltwater different than the environment freshwater.
That's right.
So if you gonna fish in salt water, how you gonna come at the saltwater fish the same way you come at the freshwater fish? They two different kind of fish,
Right.
but they can still get caught,
That's right.
just like with people. That's
right.
why Jesus said he gonna make you fishers of men.
Right.
It's people the same way.
That's
When
right.
you fishing for people,
That's right.
they got environments that shape them.
That's right.
So when Moses went to the cave, he was talking that caveman
That's
talk.
right. That's right.
Then when you had Prophet Muhammad,
Yes, sir.
he came to the desert.
Right.
He had to civilize the Arabs. They lived in the desert. So when Prophet Muhammad first came, he was doing a lot of socializing with the Jews. The Jews didn't accept Prophet Muhammad. That's what them Sunnis don't be telling. They didn't accept him. Why? Because he wasn't talking that caveman talk.
Right.
That's the only Islam they knew.
Right.
They knew that caveman stuff.
That's right.
So since Moses or Prophet Muhammad had to civilize people in the desert, he wasn't talking that caveman talk, but he was talking Islam.
Right.
He was talking that desert talk. So since they didn't accept him, he just left them alone and went to his people and talked that desert talk.
right.
So now you got the message. We live in the jungle, the concrete jungle.
That's right.
That's where we at. That's what shaped us. Was the jungle, the concrete jungle.
That's right.
So the messenger ain't talking no caveman talk.
That's right.
The messenger ain't talking no desert talk. He talking concrete jungle talk. All praise due to Allah. So this is what shaped us.
That's right.
And if Allah want to come get us, he got to know and send a messenger that can cope with the same environment we live in.
That's right.
What if he start talking some caveman talk?
Yeah.
We don't know nothing about no cave.
Right.
When the white man was in the cave, he was on all fours crawling around. How you gonna talk that same talk to us? Try to get us to accept some Islam.
Right.
We ain't crawling around. The white man or the Arab was in the desert. How you gonna talk some desert talk to us?
Right.
What you look like as a Muslim wearing desert clothes?
Right.
You got on flip-flops outside. They wear that in the desert.
Right.
You got on dresses and sisters covering their face. They got sandstorms when they over in the desert.
That's right.
We don't have no sandstorm. Why you covering your face? They don't even know why they doing what they doing. But they following people thinking, oh, this is Islam. Because they following the same practice that desert people follow.
That's right.
We ain't following no desert people. All praise to Allah. We following the messenger.
That's right.
We following his talk and we talking his talk.
That's right.
We ain't talking no caveman talk. But we know that caveman talk.
That's right.
But we ain't talking no caveman talk or no desert talk.
That's
We
right.
talking the messenger's talk.
That's right.
And that's the breakdown on the differences between the different prophets.
Yes.
They all teach Islam.
That's right.
But they all come to a different people. So they got to speak the language of the people.
That's right.
Just like when you a fisherman. You got to deal with the fish you trying to catch. You ain't catching no shark. You can't catch him the same way you catch a whale.
That's right.
Different thing. That's the only difference. So we going to win as Muslims.
That's right.
So we might as well accept our own.
That's right.
Because Sister Marjorie Hassan said something real good in her article because she always do a good job to back up the message.
That's right. Yeah.
She said, in all your doings in the name of obtaining civil and human rights here in America, you are only trying to prove that the American system can work for you. The devil built up his world of tricks without our aid, and it can fall without our help of propping it up. That's real. This devil built this world without us. So Allah can destroy it without us. He don't need us.
That's right.
We given an opportunity.
That's right.
We need to understand that. We given an opportunity. This devil's world don't need us to survive, and this devil's world don't need us to be destroyed. It don't need us. The white man stole us and took us and forced us to come over here and work for them.
That's right.
That's what they did. But their world was started way before that. But they stole us and brought us over here. There wasn't no option. But the white man's world was built without our aid. And it's going to be destroyed without our aid. So we either get on board or get destroyed with it.
That's right.
That's the point that we need to understand today. We think a lot of times that Allah need us. That's that Christianity thinking. That because they do a lot of begging in Christianity. All the years I was in Christianity, they'll beg you to stay. Act like they'll miss you if you gone. It ain't like that with Islam.
That's right.
Everybody do is voluntary.
Right.
All praise due to Allah. Ain't nobody forcing you to do nothing.
That's right.
Everything you do because you want to do. And that's the best way to do it.
That's right.
Because when people take advantage of you, sometimes it happens. If you doing it for them, you will stop doing it.
That's right.
If you was doing it for them.
That's right.
Sometimes people don't compliment you like they should. If you was doing it for them, you would stop. But because you doing it because you love doing it.
Right.
You don't care nothing about what they say, what they think, what they do. I'm doing this for me and my duty as a Muslim.
Now, praise God.
All praise due to Allah. That's why I do it. I don't do it for you.
Right.
Muslim or not. I do it because it's my duty. And when you do it because it's your duty, it don't make no difference what nobody else do.
That's right.
They can leave, they can stay,
That's right.
they can do something with you, and they cannot.
Right.
But if you doing it because it's your duty and you love to do it, you're going to do it regardless. That's Islam.
That's right.
That's Islam. That's why it's voluntary.
That's right.
You get better help when you let a person do what they want to do. Do what you want to do. If that's what you want to do that. If you want to paint this wall, paint the wall. You don't want to paint it, don't paint it. Don't waste our time.
Right.
But when you paint it, you know he going to paint it right.
That's right.
You know he going to put his heart in it. You know he going to do the best he can do. If he doing it from his heart and because he want to do it. That's Islam.
That's right.
So the messenger, he goes on to say, he says, Africa is the native home of the black man in America. and the black man of the entire Western Hemisphere. Africa is carved into many religions from traditional origin to Christianity and Islam. This is our biggest hang-up with this Africa stuff. Because we feel like just because something come out of Africa, we should accept it. You know, our African heritage and all that kind of nonsense. No. All that other stuff in Africa that ain't Islam is savage. Just giving it to you straight. All that Christianity, all that tribal stuff, that's savage. This is a modern time we living in. Maybe it was cool in Yakub's world for brothers and sisters to be half naked. I don't know. We ain't lived in. But we know that. We modern men. It ain't civilized to go out half naked.
That's right.
That's what it is. It ain't civilized. You don't know if we wasn't living during that time, we don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? It could have been civilized for you to be half naked. But it's a modern time. You got to keep up with the modern time. It ain't civilized no more for you to be running around half naked. So the messenger says, the black people, the American black people are being called on today by the word of Allah through me to accept their own and to love to accept their own. The black people in America are a little confused due to their desire to be self-leaders and self-teachers and for the sake of being called leaders of their people. Let's give an example of that. What is a self-leader? This right here is a brother that some may know, some may not know. This brother's name is Dr. Umar Johnson. No disrespect. We always want to use an example.
Yes.
This brother is an example of a self-teacher. No disrespect. You a self-teacher, you a self-teacher. They like to say that. They like to say I'm self-taught. You know what I'm saying? He a self-leader. So they got this video of this brother. It's called Dr. Umar Johnson and Malcolm X. When Dr. Umar Johnson met Malcolm X? He ain't never met Malcolm X. So why you interviewing him, asking him questions about Malcolm X? Most of the people who you listen to now talk about Malcolm X ain't never met him.
That's right.
Wasn't even born when this man died.
That's right.
But you have people interviewing these brothers, these self-leaders, asking them stuff about Malcolm X. You don't even understand why this brother praises Malcolm X. You don't understand, right? You don't see the hidden agenda that these people, these self-leaders have when they compliment Malcolm X. Because if you never met somebody, like if I never met this brother, you knew him personally, and you talking bad about him, you saying stuff he done and I don't know him, I'm not getting involved in that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm not about to take up for somebody I never met. I don't know this brother. He could have did everything you said he did.
Right.
What I look like taking up for somebody I don't know. I ain't never met this person. I don't even know nobody who knew him. So when you see these brothers who taking up for Malcolm X, what's their motive? Because you got, this is a picture of Malcolm X's two brothers. You never talk about these two. Because this brother right here name is Wilford, and this brother right here name is Philip. This brother right here, his blood brothers. These is his two blood brothers who was ministers in the Nation of Islam too.
That's right.
This brother right here, Philbert, was the one who introduced Malcolm to Islam.
That's right.
But on the movie Malcolm X with Spike Lee, another brother who ain't never met Malcolm, he wasn't in the Nation of Islam, none of that.
Right.
But he make a whole movie about a man he didn't know. So he got in the movie Brother Baines introduced Malcolm X to Islam. And when you listen to black to show how this devil is on the minds of black people, when you become a Muslim and you start knowing about Elijah Muhammad, you know about Islam and all of that, you listen to people talk about Malcolm X. And you watch the movie Malcolm X by Spike Lee. They talk about Malcolm X according to the movie. Like this Brother Baines and all of that kind of stuff. The movie said. Like, brother, it wasn't no Brother Baines. But they talk like that, like, well, Brother Baines, you know, it wasn't no Brother Baines.
That's right.
Didn't even know what you talking about.
That's right.
But you done saw the movie.
Right.
You done saw another self-leader talk about somebody he don't know. So these two brothers, who was his blood brother, when Malcolm turned hypocrite against the messenger, against the Nation of Islam, they didn't side with Malcolm.
Sure, that's right.
They knew him.
That's right. That's right.
Personally knew him. This is my brother.
That's right.
This the man that I introduced him to the message.
That's right.
Them both of them now. Hypocrite. They didn't side with Malcolm.
That's right.
Then you got the message. To the message.
That's right.
Them both of them now. Hypocrite. They didn't side with Malcolm.
That's right.
Then you got the message. He knew Malcolm.
Right.
He was the one who knew Malcolm before we ever knew anything about him. If it wasn't for him putting Malcolm out, we wouldn't know nothing about Malcolm.
That's right.
He the one made Malcolm the national representative for the Nation of Islam. The messenger did that.
That's right.
Because he knew him.
That's right.
He had a minister to choose from. Because he know his ministers. He say, I choose you.
Right.
How he gonna choose somebody he don't know what he can do?
Right.
Brother, you don't know. You just gonna put anybody up there.
Right.
You choose the one you know gonna do what you ask him to do.
That's right.
Or the one you believe gonna do what you asked him to do to the best of his ability.
That's right.
So the messenger knew Malcolm.
That's right.
So when they asked this brother Umar, he don't say, well, Elijah Muhammad said, Filbert said,
Right.
Wilford said. No, he give his own opinion
Right.
about Malcolm X.
Yeah.
He don't never talk about what the messenger said.
Right.
He don't never talk about what nobody else said who knew him. The Captain Joseph knew him. Captain Joseph was here with him when he was in Detroit. Captain Joseph with him when he was with Philly. Captain Joseph was with him in New York. Captain Joseph said he was a hypocrite.
That's right.
Who's listening to Captain Joseph? Did they ask Captain Joseph what's up with Malcolm when Spike Lee made the movie? So this is these self-leaders talking about stuff they don't know, giving black people advice on things they don't know nothing about.
Right.
So why would he favor Malcolm X? This brother called himself the Prince of Pan-Africanism. That's what he say. He the Prince of Pan-Africanism. So Malcolm X embraced Pan-Africanism when he turned hypocrite against the message. That's the only reason why this brother concerned with Malcolm X. He don't care nothing about Malcolm X.
Right.
None of these brothers do. None of these Afrocentrics. Because this Afrocentric stuff is just your job. That's all it is. They ain't trying to raise no nation, come up with no program or nothing like that. This is their hobby.
Right.
This is stuff they do in their little spare time, and some of them good at it, so they make this their profession. So this brother's profession is this Pan-Africanist stuff. So since Malcolm turned against the message, because Islam is competition for Pan-Africanism,
Right.
it ain't nothing sincere he's saying about no Malcolm X.
Right.
Because wasn't no brother side with Malcolm X after what he did to the message. If you for real.
That's right.
After what he did to this man, I remember back when I was young and I saw an interview with Kobe Bryant. They was talking about Shaq. He got caught cheating on his wife. Kobe did. So Kobe wanted to take it off him and said, well, Shaq be cheating too. I lost respect for him. Like, Shaq was your man.
Right.
Y'all was teammates. Shaq probably was cheating on his wife. That ain't the point.
Right.
Why you telling? That's the point. That was your man.
That's right.
You ain't supposed to be telling like that on your man. So if you tell on him, what you about to do to me?
Right. That's right.
Because we all make mistakes. We all do stuff that we wish we hadn't did, or you do it on purpose. Why you telling?
Right.
Why you telling? What you got in your heart? Why you telling on me? That shows what kind of person you are. When you go back on the sidewalk, as Malcolm used to say, he said we need to handle our business behind closed doors. As black people, that's what he used to say. He said it's uncouth. You know he knew them words. He used to say uncouth. For us to go out on the sidewalk and air our dirty laundry. That's what he used to say. But as soon as he felt like he heard some rumors about the messenger, what'd he do? Same thing he said we shouldn't do.
That's right.
Then you got these brothers right here who the messengers say these self-leaders that confuse you. Talking about Malcolm X, don't know what he talking about.
That's right.
Talking against the messenger because he sneaked this the messenger on this whole interview. Know how they do that. You know, I ain't going to say nothing bad about him, but I'm going to praise Malcolm X over him. So he giving you misinformation, making you confused. And they always get these self-leaders to continue to confuse the black man on what choices he should make when it's concerning Islam. Because what purpose should we be listening to Dr. Umar Johnson?
Right.
What he done? What example he had to show us he a leader?
Right.
What example do he have to show us he even know what he's talking about? Could he say, these are the people who follow me? And what I'm saying, in my opinion, and what I think, he don't have that. But the messenger got that.
That's right.
Even Malcolm X is an example for the messenger. He was a dope head for the messenger.
That's right.
He didn't know how to write a complete sentence before the messenger. So if the messenger changed his life like that, why wouldn't we believe what the messenger say about him? Why we gonna believe Umar Johnson, who ain't even never met the man?
Right.
Just to confuse you.
Right.
Then we can go on even further about how these brothers confuse you. You got this brother, again, Dr. Umar Johnson, being interviewed again by the Breakfast Club.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
How he qualified the leaders? What examples he got? He ain't got no examples. They still got the same brother on there asking them more questions to lead us in the wrong direction. Now you see this brother got a beard on, and he got his little Afrocentric stuff on. More confusion. Because the messenger spoke against wearing beards.
That's right.
Not only did he speak against wearing beards, he explained to us why we shouldn't wear beards. Let's look at that.
Okay.
This comes from the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. This comes from the July 4th, 1969 Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Now let's look at what the messenger said about wearing beards. The messenger had a whole article teaching on beards. Because the messenger never just told us, look, I don't want you to wear a beard. He taught us everything he told us. Everything, stuff you would think, like how he make a teaching out of that? Anything. Talking about a beard, writing a whole page long article about a beard.
Right. Yes, sir.
Who would have thought you could do something like that about a beard? That's what he said about a beard. The messenger said, the beard is no more clean than the surface of your clothes, which is exposed to filth of all kinds. This is why we wear clothes. It is to clothe our body against things that would make our bodies unclean. To cover our face with hair serves the same purpose. For the face, the beard catches all that will light upon the face. It is more troublesome to clean a beard than it is to clean the skin of the face from which the beard is grown. We can easily cleanse a clean shaven face with soap and water. How hard is that? He didn't just tell us not to wear a beard. He told us, look, it's easier to clean a clean shaven face than it is to clean a beard.
Right.
Just like how Moses, he told him about the hog. We'll still wear beards. After listening to this, we'll still wear beards because the devil even come out. The USA Today. It says, are beards dirtier than dogs? Significantly more germs hid in men's beards, study find. This is 2019 too. It's like with the bacon. White man ain't had nothing from us.
That's right.
This is the resurrection.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah. Everything that was once hidden ain't even hidden no more by the devil.
That's right.
The devil used to put stuff in symbolic language in the Bible. He don't do that no more. He'll tell you about a beard. But while he telling you about a beard, he hyping up this brother. Cause he still want us to go to hell now.
Right.
He ain't trying to save us.
No, it's right.
But it's just the time.
Right.
He can't hide it no more. The messenger already told us what it is.
That's right.
So you got some devils that don't want to go to hell, so they like, yo, man, we need to chill out. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop. So they still gonna have Umar Johnson in front of you while they telling you the truth. They want to make it hard for you to make your choice. We gonna tell you the truth, but we gonna make him popular with his little beard.
Right.
He on the Breakfast Club.
Right.
He being interviewed talking about a man he don't know. And everybody respect his opinion. So you want to look like him? Or you want to fight for the truth?
Right.
And tell all of these brothers who wearing all these beards, like, brother, that's unsanitary, brother.
Right.
Which one you gonna do? Because they say in the study, it say the research published in February in the peer-reviewed journal European Radiology compared bacteria samples from 18 hairy men with those from 30 dogs, including border collies, German shepherds. The conclusion, on the basis of these findings, dogs can be considered as clean compared with bearded men, the Switzerland-based research noted. So a dog, while outside playing in the mud and eating off the ground, is just as clean as a brother with a beard. You can either get it from the white man, you can get it from the messenger.
Right.
Truth is true.
Right.
But all praise to Allah. But it ain't hidden. So what you gonna do? Now how much of a fool this brother look like to you now? And them blinders be taking off your eyes.
Right.
You listening to this brother tell you about mouth. He don't even know nothing about shade.
Right.
He think he look distinguished,
Right.
talking against the messenger.
That's right.
Don't want to accept the message. But when you teach this truth that the messenger taught, you make them all look like a fool with the basic stuff.
That's right.
You ain't even got to get all into the message of the black man. Just talk about shade.
Right.
Tell him how much of a fool he is for shade, for not shade. Because the messenger go on in the article about beards. The messenger says in the past, they were warned by the original people who held high sacred office to distinguish themselves from the infidels. The infidel wears his beard to distinguish himself from others or according to some office that he holds. Regardless to the reason, I want to set forth in these words that the beard is unsanitary. People just wear them to be distinguished one from the other. If I were you, I would leave them off and try to keep my face clean. Then he gives us an example. He said in the winter, in cold frigid zones like the one of Chicago, Illinois, and Michigan, these are cold zones that we have here in North America, north of Ohio River, except in the far west, which is warmer. We are living in cold zones and have zero weather with snow, ice, and sleet. When the least liquid hits these beards, they freeze up, without the wearer knowing it. He had better not be a tobacco chewer trying to acceptorate in zero or sub-zero weather. Now I saw this devil one time. I was at work at the landfill. This devil was eating a soft taco and he had a beard. Now I'm sitting back watching him, not looking at him so he can see me looking at him. He was taking his beard, like, cause his beard was growing over his mouth. So every time he'd take a bite of the sandwich, he had to lift his beard up and bite the sandwich and then chew it while I was like, oh my God. Then I saw another devil who chewed tobacco in the wintertime. I saw the stuff freezing on his beard. I saw it. And he chewing it and spitting it and it get all under here and they just keep chewing and spitting and talking. I'm like, damn, that's what the messenger said. It froze up on his beard. The snow be freezing up on it. Because we used to have the mechanics. If it's in the snow and we broke down on the side of the road, the mechanics still got to be outside in the cold, fix the truck.
Right.
The snow be freezing up on their beard. Just like how the messenger said. It's like, God, see the snow and all of the germs and stuff all on his beard. And they still wear it. And the white man ain't as clean as the black man is. So you like, when? He got all these germs and he eating and kissing his wife. It's crazy. So the messenger goes on to say, I am against wearing beards. I am against men wearing long hair like women. This is also tradition of the time of Moses. When the white man came out of the cave, he was full of hair. Hair covered his whole body and face. He had no barbershop. They had not had such tools as we have today. But we see how they go today. Most of them are clean shaven except those who want to distinguish themselves like rabbis and priests. However, most priests are clean shaven, even the Pope of Rome. It's facts. So, look at this brother now. All of the germs that he catching with his beard. The messenger say we got barbershops now.
Right.
During the time of Moses, they ain't had barbershops. That's why they had beards. But you got barbershops now. You got a choice. Either you can have a germ-catching beard or you can have a clean-shaven face.
Right.
This brother choose to have a germ-catcher. So what you about to listen to this brother tell you about what you should do?
Right.
He don't even know what he should do. But you gonna listen to him. So the messenger goes on to say, every now and then we find some who want to wear long beards. They wear them, but that does not mean that the beard is sanitary. They house germs. I will not wear such germ catchers, and I will not tolerate with my followers wearing such germ catchers. Here of late, there has been a great upsurging of the black man, old and young men also, coming out with the face covered with beards. Young brother, it does not make you look modern when you let your hair grow down on your neck and shoulders. They let their hair grow when there was no barbershop or barber who could trim people's hair. Cut off that pillow of hair behind your neck, at the nape of your neck, and trim your hairline around the back of your neck, like the modern man. When you let the hair of face and head grow long, you are wearing the style of ancient traditional people, and you are not classified with the modern man of today. And that's just like with Prophet Muhammad. He couldn't speak that caveman talk no more. Them cave days is over. The white man ain't in the caves no more. So all that stuff Moses taught them to get out of the cave, why you gonna keep talking that cave talk? Same with Prophet Muhammad. All that desert stuff over. They ain't in there doing the same savage stuff they was doing in the desert. So why you gonna keep talking the same desert talk? Just like with the beard. That was stuff they used to do when they ain't had barbershops. We got barbershops now. So why, knowing that it's a germ catcher, knowing that it's something that catches germs and all of this stuff all in your mouth while you kissing your wife or your girlfriend, why would you do it? After you know. So the messenger is telling us to be like the modern man. Be civilized. Shave. What's all praise to Allah? What's hard about that? He ain't being mean. He just giving you facts about shave. He ain't just tell us to just shave because he didn't want us to wear beards. He telling us why he don't want us to wear beards. But let's go a little bit further with this Afrocentric stuff, because we still want to talk about these self-leaders. Because Dr. Umar Johnson say he the prince of Pan-Africanism. So when you listen to this brother talk about Marcus Garvey, Marcus Garvey was also with the Pan-African stuff. He was with the Go Back to Africa. So since Dr. Umar Johnson is the prince of Pan-Africanists, he supports Marcus Garvey. He always talking about Marcus Garvey like the messenger borrowed from Marcus Garvey. That's what they like to say. Because now, when you listen to Umar Johnson talk about Malcolm X, he say that his parents or his father used to be a Garveyite. So he's saying that before Malcolm went to jail, he was into the Garvey thing. So Elijah Muhammad really didn't teach him nothing. He already knew about black from his mom and dad. But when you listen to them, it was a speech that Malcolm gave one time. He talked about how his father was a fool, and he knew his father was a fool. What he was saying. Because he said he wanted to talk about his father because he wanted to talk about some other people's fathers in the crowd. So he said, I'm going to talk about my father first, so now I can talk about your father, because he was talking about the Christian preacher. And he said his daddy was a Christian preacher. And he said, I know my daddy was a fool. So he said, I'm going to talk about my daddy, now I'm going to talk about your daddy. That's how Malcolm used to be when he used to follow the message. But he said his daddy was a fool. He didn't say his daddy told him nothing. When you hear Malcolm X give a man credit for teaching him something, he said Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
He ain't say nothing about John Henry Clark.
That's right.
When John Henry Clark be trying to say he gave him this stuff on Africa. But when did Malcolm X say that? All these self-leaders. And they all trying to weave they self in like, yeah, I used to give him stuff on Africa. So when you hear Malcolm talk that stuff on Africa, you think John Henry Clark talk. Everybody try to take credit for Malcolm. But Marcus Garvey, if you look at Marcus Garvey and compare Marcus Garvey to the messenger, since they always want to do it, they always want to say the messenger borrowed from him. Now, Marcus Garvey started the UNIA 1914 in Jamaica. Then he got arrested in 1922. So the whole time, all that stuff they talk about Marcus Garvey only lasted 8 years. 8 years. All that, the height, the beginning, the end, the fall, all that, 8 years. it says he was convicted and sentenced in 1923. So a year after he was arrested, because they got him, the FBI got him on mail fraud. Because the FBI infiltrated Marcus Garvey's group, same way they did the Nation of Islam. Actually, the first black FBI agents was the ones they sent into Marcus Garvey's movement. Those were the first black FBI agents. And within 8 years of Marcus Garvey's whole organization, it was over with. And in 1927, he was deported. So, if the white man destroyed Marcus Garvey in 8 years, what you about to do with what he taught? He couldn't do nothing with it. He couldn't even make it successful. He couldn't even put it on top. Because when you read about when Marcus Garvey talked about the black man, and he talked about how the black man ain't want to listen, the black man ain't want to do this, because a lot of people in his group didn't follow his instructions. And he wrote about that stuff. Like if the black man lazy and the black man don't want to do this, because he was getting upset about the people who was in his organization, because there was a lot of FBI in his sabotaging his stuff. So he used to write about that stuff. He wasn't talking like his stuff was on top. He got a lot of stuff real fast. A lot of businesses, he got ships, but it all failed in 8 years. That's facts. It ain't nothing that we saying to try to disrespect him. But since you want to compare him to the Message, now let's look at the Message. This comes from the July 15, 1976 Jet magazine. Now this after the Messenger had passed away. The Messenger passed away climbing the ladder.
Right.
Let's make that clear.
That's right.
He didn't die broke like all other leaders did.
Right.
Some leaders died broke to where they couldn't even afford to pay for their own funeral. Other people who liked them had to come and pay for their funeral. That's how all other black leaders died. But the Messenger ain't died like that. He died on top. He had dignitaries come to his funeral. All kind of people came to the Messenger's funeral. It wasn't no thing that he died on the bottom. He died on the top. So this article is called FBI Infiltrated Wiretap Black Muslims. It says the late FBI director, J. Edgar Hoover, carried on a vendetta against the Nation of Islam as viciously as he had done against Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., according to the final report of the Senate Intelligence Committee. So the white man, after he had infiltrated all of these organizations and destroyed them, then after the Messenger passed away, they started coming out with the stuff letting black people know what they was doing. So they telling you that they vendetta against the Messenger was just as vicious as it was with Dr. King. Because a lot of these Pan-Africans like to read that little FBI file where they be sitting up there talking about the FBI wanted to prevent the rise of a black messiah. And in the FBI file, it said the Messenger was too old.
Yeah.
You know, Malcolm could have been one, but he, you know, he died. But they said the Messenger was too old. They love that.
Yeah.
As if this, because when I was in the military, a lot of time they sent out fake news just to get you to believe something false. The Messenger was already a black messiah.
Yeah.
Regardless to what they talking about, all praise to Allah. Regardless to what they talking about, he too old.
Right.
He already was doing what he said he was gonna do.
That's right.
Regardless to them infiltrating him or not. So they put out this fake news to let black people, these militants, feel like, you know, H. Rap Brown, them, the brothers that got caught,
Right.
the brothers that got killed, they could have been. But Elijah Muhammad too old, he was still living, still climbing the ladder. But they put out this fake news talking about he too old. So it says, for more than 20 years, U.S. government intelligence agencies infiltrated the ranks of the NOI members and wiretapped telephones of its leaders and conducted dirty tricks against the black Muslims. So intense was the anti-NOI campaign that at one point Hoover scribbled "quit stalling" on a memorandum for a high government official who turned down approval of a surveillance project. So Hoover like, what you doing? Like, why you ain't put it on there yet? But the other cat like, man, look, I don't want to put it on there. They ain't doing nothing. But he like, quit stalling, put it on there anyway. So it says, and hundreds of Muslims were slated for imprisonment in detention centers in the event of a national emergency. So the white man had the Nation of Islam fully infiltrated, They had plans to do whatever they wanted to do when a national crisis broke out. But this is the part they don't never talk about. It says the U.S. intelligence agency long campaign to waylay the Nation of Islam was a clear indication that there was no stalling. The members of the Senate committee were amazed at the illegal tactics employed by the FBI and other intelligence groups. So even the devil was surprised. Like, dang, they went that hard against them? Like that? They went extra hard. So then it says, but despite the harassment, the Nation of Islam continued to grow in membership and in size of its economic holdings. The Muslims fared better during the period of persecution than any other black group targeted by Hoover for extinction. All praise due to Allah. This is what the white man said about the nation. And even some of them were surprised at how far the devil went to infiltrate the nation. How far the devil went with his tactics and his illegal stuff. They was like, God, y'all went that hard on them and they didn't do nothing to them. So, once again, listen to this brother with a beard. Sit up there talking about Marcus Garvey. Talking about the messenger borrowed from him. What did he borrow from this man? The messenger was on the scene for 44 years. How you borrow? That's like if you broke, you ain't got no money, nothing in your savings account. And you gonna say, I'll borrow some investment tips from you. What I'm gonna borrow from you? You ain't got no money. You ain't successful. What I'm gonna borrow from you? What I'm gonna use that you have if I look at you and you ain't even working for yourself? So if they always want to talk about the messenger borrowed from Marcus Garvey, what did he borrow from Marcus Garvey? Tell us that, like the FBI got a whole list of stuff they was doing. If the messenger borrowed from anybody, tell us what they borrowed. But what you see is these Pan-Africanists borrowed from the messenger. And you can tell them what they borrowed from the messenger. Marcus Garvey wasn't talking about the white man's the devil. When you listen to Umar Johnson, where do you get that from? Marcus Garvey wasn't talking that Christianity was the white man religion. He accepted Christianity. He didn't talk about that like that. Marcus Garvey wasn't talking about how to eat to live. Marcus Garvey wasn't talking about Islam. Marcus Garvey wasn't saying the murder of a Muslim must be killed regardless to who he is. He wasn't saying nothing like that. He wasn't talking to the white man like the messenger was talking to the white man. Because Marcus Garvey didn't think that the white man was just evil by nature. He just felt like he was in a position and he treated the white man bad. But he felt like the black man should get and strap up his boots and get something for himself. That's what he felt. But he didn't feel like the whole white race was just evil. Because if you listen to his writings and then you listen to Umar Johnson, you can see what Umar Johnson taking from the messenger. Because the way they talk about Christianity, where you get that from? Well, no black people talking against Christianity like the messenger. They weren't talking about the black man is the original man.
That's right.
Talking about the black man is better than the white man. They wasn't talking like that. But when you look at Dr. Umar Johnson and all of these self-leaders, and then go look at the teachings of the messenger, and you see who borrowed what. Right. Go get Marcus Garvey's book. It's called The Thoughts and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. Then go get the message of the black man and compare it.
Right.
And see who borrowing from who. The messenger ain't borrowing nothing from nobody. He told you who he got everything from.
Real stuff.
He told you who he got it from God in person.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah. That's who the messenger got everything from that he taught us, from God in person. But they don't want to accept that. The messenger is the only one who told us, tell the people where you got it from.
That's right.
Other leaders don't tell you that.
That's right.
If you come up with something, it's like it's yours. All you got to do is say it some other slick kind of way. If you learn something from somebody else that you like, oh, now I got to just say it my little way, and I take credit for it. But the messenger told all of us, tell the people where you got it from. Just like how he did.
Right.
He didn't take credit for nothing that he did for us. He said it all came from Master Farad Muhammad.
Right.
All praise due to Allah.
Right.
Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, Thee alone do we serve, and thee alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is to be served worship of praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farah Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is our true servant and last apostle. Ameen. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves, and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.
FM 88.1 WHPR, Highland Park.
Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Kareem Bean Pie is also available at Great Canadian Fish, Chicken, and Seafood, 7601 East 7 Mile Road. Another place you'll find Kareem Bean Pie is Davison Fresh Fish Market, 1520 East 7 Mile Road in Detroit.